I've always been fascinated by, this world that we live in and how destructive.
What happens when a man who has dedicated decades of his life to saving the planet finds himself accused of betraying the very ideals he's fought so hard to defend? What does it mean when a Hollywood A-lister's activism, once praised by world leaders, scientists, and millions of fans, suddenly becomes the subject of controversy and public backlash? Leonardo DiCaprio, one of the most recognizable and respected environmental advocates in the world, has long used his global platform to raise awareness about climate change, deforestation, and the fragile state of our oceans and ecosystems. But now, as the headlines twist and social media picks apart every action, a new question emerges. Can someone still be a genuine activist if their lifestyle doesn't perfectly reflect their advocacy? Leonardo DiCaprio isn't just another celebrity who tweets about the planet. He's been a passionate environmentalist since the late 1990s, long before it was trendy. In 1998, he founded the Leonardo DiCaprio Foundation, an organization that has funded over 200 environmental projects across 50 countries. From protecting endangered species to advocating for indigenous rights and supporting groundbreaking climate research, his impact on environmental awareness has been profound. He's spoken at the United Nations, served as a UN messenger of peace, and even used his Oscar acceptance speech in 2016 as a call to action against global warming. For years, he has been the poster child of celebrity climate activism, a man who seemed to not only talk the talk but walk the walk. And yet, in recent years, the narrative has started to shift as media outlets and critics look deeper into his lifestyle, his use of private jets, his attendance at high-end events around the world, and his sometimes conflicting affiliations. Questions are being asked. Is DiCaprio truly practicing what he preaches? Or is he, as some now claim, just another hypocrite profiting from the cause he claims to care so deeply about? One of the earliest controversies came in 2016 when DiCaprio reportedly flew 8,000 miles on a private jet from Kent to New York City to accept an environmental award. The irony was not lost on anyone. Environmental bloggers, climate scientists, and regular citizens called it out as performative activism. Why take one of the most carbon-intensive forms of transportation to receive an award about reducing carbon emissions? When questioned, DiCaprio's team offered little comment, hoping the controversy would die down. But it didn't. It became a recurring talking point in every subsequent debate about celebrity environmentalism. More recently, in 2025, during the devastating wildfires in Los Angeles, DiCaprio was once again seen boarding a private jet, this time to reportedly seek refuge in Mexico. The optics were difficult to ignore, as thousands of Californians were displaced, losing homes and livelihoods. DiCaprio's sleek jet climbing into the smoke-filled sky became a symbolic image, not one of escape, but of privilege. Critics were relentless, and social media erupted with outrage. Hashtags accusing DiCaprio of hypocrisy began trending. For some, it didn't matter how much money he donated or how many speeches he gave. They believed his personal choices told a different story. Adding fuel to the fire were his past ties to questionable organizations and figures. In 2016, DiCaprio's name was linked to the 1MDB Malaysian corruption scandal. It was alleged that his charitable foundation may have benefited indirectly from stolen funds. Though no direct wrongdoing was proven, and the Leonardo DiCaprio Foundation responded by supporting a full investigation and pledging transparency, the association alone was damaging. It was a blemish on an otherwise noble mission. Activist groups like the Bruno Manser Fund even called on him to resign from his UN climate post, citing conflict of interest and lack of accountability. And then there's the recent confrontation with the Australian government. In March 2025, DiCaprio took to social media to condemn the approval of the South 32 bauxite mine expansion in Western Australia. His concern was the potential damage to the habitat of endangered species, particularly in the remote northern regions. The response from Australia's leadership was swift and scathing. Prime Minister Anthony Albanese publicly dismissed DiCaprio's criticisms, implying the actor had little understanding of the issue's local complexities. "We welcome global voices, but we expect them to be informed," he said in a press briefing. The remark made international headlines and once again placed DiCaprio's activism under a microscope. For his supporters, these attacks are both unfair and short-sighted. They argue that DiCaprio has done more for the environmental cause than almost any other public figure. They point to his consistent financial support, his role in documentaries like Before the Flood, and his unwavering commitment to keeping climate change in the global conversation. To them, demanding perfection from activists, especially ones in the public eye, is both unrealistic and counterproductive. After all, shouldn't we be encouraging anyone with a platform to speak up rather than tearing them down for their imperfections? But for his critics, it's not just about the message, it's about the messenger. If someone with DiCaprio's wealth and influence can't make more sustainable choices, what hope is there for the rest of us? If the face of environmentalism continues to fly private, live lavishly, and maintain a carbon footprint far higher than the average citizen, isn't that setting a dangerous precedent? This conflict isn't just about Leonardo DiCaprio. It reflects a larger societal debate about who gets to be an activist, what it means to live by your values, and whether advocacy requires perfection. In today's world, public figures are held to increasingly high standards. Every inconsistency is highlighted. Every misstep is magnified. Social media has made it easier than ever to hold people accountable, but it has also blurred the line between fair criticism and character assassination. Some climate experts have stepped into the conversation, offering a more nuanced view. They argue that while DiCaprio's lifestyle may not be perfect, the awareness he raises outweighs the contradictions. One scientist noted, "I'd rather have Leo fly to 10 countries and raise millions in environmental funding than stay home and do nothing." It's a pragmatic take, acknowledging that systemic change often requires some uncomfortable trade-offs. But it also begs the question, should we, as a society, accept those trade-offs? Or should we expect our leaders, especially those who claim moral authority, to lead by example in every way? Is awareness enough? Or do we need a full lifestyle alignment to take someone seriously? This duality is hard to ignore. It forces us to examine not just DiCaprio's choices, but our own. How many of us demand action on climate change while still driving gas-powered cars, eating meat, and buying fast fashion? How many of us hold others to standards we can't meet ourselves? Leonardo DiCaprio isn't perfect, but maybe that's the point. Maybe activism isn't about being flawless. It's about trying consistently to do better. Maybe the real test isn't whether he takes a private jet, but whether he invests the time, money, and energy to make up for that carbon cost tenfold. Still, the criticism serves a purpose. It reminds us that no one is above accountability, not even the most passionate among us. And it pushes the conversation forward, forcing activists to consider not just what they say, but how they live. Whether you see DiCaprio as a hero, a hypocrite, or something in between, one thing is clear. His work has started a global dialogue. And that dialogue, uncomfortable as it may be, is essential. Because climate change isn't just a scientific issue, it's a moral one. And in the fight to save our planet, we need every voice, every effort, and yes, even every flaw to move us forward. So the next time we see DiCaprio walk on stage, speak at the UN, or board a flight, maybe we can look at him not as a savior or a villain, but as a reflection of our own complicated efforts to live in alignment with our values. Because in the end, the fight for the planet is bigger than any one person, even a superstar.